Welcome to Egg Foo What? The first and only podcast about people eating stuff. Also,
hello, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of Egg Foo. What? And Mike, I believe we do have a special guest this week. If you want to introduce our new best friend.
that's right. This is a big day for the show. Not only are we all on camera, which is something we tend to not do, but we're here with Tom Scharpling, host of the best show.
Yeah.
The longest running podcast in podcast history.
Yeah.
Set the standard.
It's one of the longest ones.
Standard.
Yeah.
Set the standard.
We've been doing it as a podcast since 2005.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been 17 years. Yeah, well, 2005 is when I came on, but you started in 2000.
Yo, the show started in 2000.
Oh, it wasn't a podcast.
It wasn't a podcast right out of the box.
Oh,
it was,
right. That's true.
Just the radio show, but then we added the podcast stuff in 2005.
Oh, okay. So I've been with the podcast the entire time.
Nobody remembers the show before Mike, so.
No, that's considered
that's not
BC is what we consider. Then the, what comes after BC is the arrival of C.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a young guy came into the studio and said, I'd like to screen calls just this week. And then you turn around and it's 2022. Still there. I'm still there. We're all still there.
Yeah. And the thing was that after that night, you did not give me any inclination that I was going to be a continuing part of the show. I think basically you shook my hand and said something, I'll be in touch.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I'll be in touch.
Okay. I had a fun night. It was a fun night. I mean, I remember that particular show. That was I think it was the Old Skull. You and John did
that's right.
The Old Skull call. And I mean, it was phenomenal. It was hysterical. So I had a great night, and I figured, well, okay, I had a fun night. Never do that again. But
exactly,
I didn't get a vibe from you that I was, going to be called back.
Now I needed to hold my cards close to the vest. I needed to take inventory. I was like, who was that guy? Actually,
At some point, you were like, who is screening these calls? This guy's ready for the show. And when I say the show, I don't mean your show. I mean the show, like maybe.
You mean the big show? It's time. He's getting called up.
Yeah.
He got called up.
No jerking around. No time in the minors. Let's get him up here.
That's exactly it.
I have to say, in the first couple of years, even, I would say it was a very professional relationship. We kind of just would do the thing, and it went along nicely. But it wasn't really until I guess I broke the ice with when I recommended the movie Strozik.
Yes,
I gave you my Netflix copy. I said, check this out. You might enjoy this.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, you described it as a comedy, and
I was getting ready. As a comedy.
I was getting ready to check out the Stripes.
Bruno S.
Yeah, I thought it was
comedic stylings
comedy.
Of Bruno S.
Yeah, and then I was just like, wait, there's more here to this guy. We got this guy. This guy just showed me something here. We got some exploring to do.
What movie is this?
It's a Werner Herzog movie. Strozik.
You don't have to say it like I wouldn't know who Werner Herzog is. I saw Grizzly Man a number of times.
Oh, Grizzly Man. Okay, that's where you got on board.
And off.
And off. Wow, one and done.
That's my.
Greg is an enigma as far as media goes to me, because he'll dedicate himself to these series, so many mostly British series, and then like you barely watch movies, right? I mean, I never get the inkling that you even watch movies at all.
I've always leaned more TV than movies, even before it was prestige TV and whatever. I don't know why. I was always a sitcom lover. as a kid, as an adult. I like getting hooked in with somebody for 100 hours or whatever.
Sure. So what to you, what is the gold standard of sitcom? What would that be, Greg?
My favorite?
Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite is a show that I didn't even discover until 6 years ago. It's called Only Fools and Horses.
Sure.
It's a classic British sitcom, debuted in 1981. That's my number one all-time favorite sitcom. It's also generally considered Britain's. Anytime there's a big vote that goes on best sitcom ever, it's always either number one, or it's either that or Fawlty Towers. The Office always number one. That's always my favorite. So
sure.
And I just watched the movie last night, the My Beautiful Laundrette.
Sure.
Wow. Okay. Just heard of that one?
Yes.
Okay. That's from the 80s too, I think.
Yeah. Daniel Day-Lewis, who was a movie actor. So I watched that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're almost up to the 80s.
Almost up to the 80s. Yeah. Okay. I'm less movie centric as sitcom centric.
Yeah.
Sure. What's your favorite? What do you have a favorite U.S. sitcom, or do you only like British stuff?
Well, let me preface this. My people like to pick at me because I do love so many British shows. They want to say it's because I'm snobby, which I am not. It's just because, thanks to the world of streaming, all these things are open to me. Same as some kid is falling in love with Family Ties right now in London. I mean, the old standards: Cheers, The Cosby Show. I know we can't talk about The Cosby. Frasier, Seinfeld, obviously.
Sure.
Curb Your Enthusiasm. Right now, I'm loving Abbott Elementary.
Okay.
So,
would it surprise you that I've never seen, like, I don't think I've seen one full episode of Cheers, Frasier, or what was the other one you mentioned?
It doesn't matter. How do you not watch? You never watch an episode of Cheers?
Well, you know what it was?
Even people that used to like to turn their noses up at me because I admitted I watched television. This is, when you live in Williamsburg, when I did, the big thing was to loudly proclaim you didn't watch TV. Even though you watch movies, which I think is the same thing. You just kind of stare at a screen at stuff other people did. But anyway, even people would make fun of me for loving sitcoms, would be like, well, Cheers is different. And you claim to have never watched an episode of Cheers.
Because it was such an investment to stick with a series. I mean,
I didn't say you had to watch every episode. You said you've never seen one episode. Yeah,
I mean, I see bits and pieces of, with Cheers, I mean, that's to me just a phony bar atmosphere. I mean, I've never been in a bar like Cheers. It just seems phony. Well, I never saw people really getting drunk in Cheers. They're all, throwing off one-liners, and everybody's a smart aleck, and there's no stupidity going on. You can't have bar activity without stupidity. And it seemed like everybody was sort of a genius, or why were they even there?
Not real enough.
Sure.
No, you just did a run through of Star Trek, if I remember.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, what do you think that Cheers bathroom looked like, Mike?
Oh, it must have
trough. If they had the trough.
Well, did they ever go in there? I mean, a bar bathroom is a very important feature of a bar, and I'm suspecting they've never went in there.
Well, it's hard to say, because the one ding I do have on Cheers is they did have that Sam's office in the back, which looked like bigger than the bar. I was like, I'm not a businessman, but why wouldn't you turn this into a place where people can buy beer? So if they did have a bathroom, it was probably amazing.
Chandelier.
What sitcoms do you love?
No, I watched Seinfeld. Seinfeld, I committed to because I felt like that was something different, and so I did commit to that show. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, I mean, some of the HBO stuff. I'm watching The White Lotus now. I like Mike White a lot, so I'll check his stuff out all the time. But usually I only got like maybe 1 or 2 series that I'm committed to at one time.
Like even like an old classic sitcom, if there is one.
Oh, well, I watched all the classics growing up. I mean, yeah, no, I was watching as much TV as any other kid. It wasn't like I lived in some sort of snobby household. No. I mean, I watched, I Love Lucy, All in the Family, Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart. Those are the classics to me. But I don't really feel compelled to go back and watch them like a lot of people do. I feel like, I went through that, and I'm sure I probably enjoy them, revisiting them. But I don't really do that.
Tom, what about you? What are your favorite sitcoms?
Well, yeah, it's not Seinfeld to me is way up there. I'm with Mike on this. I did watch Cheers, but I also have never gone back to Cheers. I feel like I get it. I got it then. I don't need to see it again. And there was, to me, with Cheers, there's almost like a fake urbane vibe with Cheers where it's like, well, this is a cut above all the other shows. This is not, this is just not a frivolous sitcom. This is it's
sophisticated.
It's exactly, but it's not that sophisticated. It's
Yeah,
more sophisticated than Alice, but it's not. That doesn't make it sophisticated. But to each their own.
You are getting on the wrong foot here, Mr. Sharpling.
Well,
may I call you Mr. Sharpling?
Of course, you call me whatever you want. It's I'm a guest on your show, Greg. You're the boss. Whatever you say goes.
I didn't think I'd be back on my back heels having to defend Cheers. But
you don't have to defend a thing. You love it. Good for you. I'm glad you found something you like. What about Alan Partridge? Where do you stand on Alan Partridge?
I love Alan Partridge.
Yes, to me, I'm Alan Partridge is the best sitcom ever.
Yes. The only thing about that Alan Partridge is there's almost too much of it. Like I can't wrap my head around when he started the radio show he had, even before I'm Alan Partridge.
Greg, let me guide you. Let me guide you.
And then I watched the one that came out last year on HBO this time.
You don't worry about anything, Greg. You start with The Day Today. You start with The Day, a show called The Day Today, which was like a fake news show. Alan Partridge did the sports on that.
With Chris Morris.
With Chris Morris created it, yes, and Armando Iannucci. And that's when so then the character of Alan Partridge got his own talk show, which was called Knowing Me, Knowing You. And there was a 6-episode run called Knowing Me, Knowing You with Alan Partridge. Then at the end of episode 6, he accidentally shoots a guest with a vintage shotgun that he had on set. As he's just about to go level up in his career, he shoots somebody by accident. And then I'm Alan Partridge picks up that he clearly didn't level up in his career. He's now doing overnights on radio. And so that just like the 2 seasons of I'm Alan Partridge are him struggling to get back into television. And then from there, you go anywhere you want. There's the books, there's 2 books, there's a movie, there's multiple web series. The podcast is amazing. The podcast is one of the best things. The character is actually as great as it's ever been.
Which podcast?
Right now. Alan Partridge has a podcast called Live from the Oast House.
And it's actually him?
Yeah. It's
not about the show? Oh, shit. Okay.
I mean, it's on wherever it is. I don't know, wherever I don't know if it's on Spotify or whatever. But they did a season last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah. All right.
A new season just dropped, and it's first season was very funny. So
yeah. You have rebounded nicely from your Cheers stumble here.
Oh, look at that! I love it.
Are you going to give him a rating at the end of the show? Is that where we're heading with this, Greg?
At the end of the show. Now, I guess I have seen most of Knowing Me, Knowing You. Like the horse takes a dump. That was a big scene.
Yeah,
that was great. I guess I have more of my head wrapped around. Like now he's had a couple seasons as a web series where he was in Norwich or something. But no, I love Alan Partridge.
Great. Okay. Well, look, we have some common ground here.
Common ground. We can come together. Mike was worried. I said, this is a human being.
I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried.
Mike wasn't worried. Mike
Do you-
was.
Do you watch The Trip?
Yeah, I watched The Trip. I prefer the series to the movies. I feel like the movies. It's like, why wouldn't you want to watch 3 hours of The Trip rather than 90 minutes of The Trip?
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. I love all those. All 3 seasons. Yeah, 3, right?
I think 4.
4. That's 4.
England, Greece, Italy, Louisville. I think there's a 4. Shit.
Yeah, when they went to Louisville.
Louisville, Kentucky. Mike says Louisville. I say Louisville.
I say Louisville because that's how I've heard people from Kentucky say they don't hit that Louis, they hit the Lou.
Is that right?
Louisville. They go like Louisville, like Louisville,
Louisville.
like
Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah.
I did start watching a new series. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Moonshiners.
No.
No. It's a reality TV show where guys make sour mash and illegal liquor. But it's also sort of a game too. There's judges involved as they're firing up their stills.
Okay.
But
You're losing us.
it's all these Southern guys.
So what happened after you two connected with this movie, though? So then,
then we just started talking more on air and off air, I guess, about things we liked, and there was a way to just have fun together on the show. I felt like there was a clear path to how we could have fun together and what I could kind of joke around with Mike about on the show. And yeah, it was
well, that's it. I mean, I came in, we were strangers, so you know, the stranger isn't just going to pop up on the show. So I don't think I'm on the show until like good 2 years into the show.
It's surprising because everybody misremembers that part of it is that it was always a gradual process because there were 2 call screeners before you, Dave and Matt.
Sorry, Dave. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, really. But it's just like they were not on mic almost at all. Like Matt would come in every once in a while and jump on the mic, and it took a little bit getting used to for me with that, even because also the show was new. I didn't even know what the show was going to be at that point. Even it took a long time to figure out what the show truly was. So
what prompted you to even start the show? And then were you just handed like a 3-hour block, or did you think I want to make this a long, expensive show?
Well, it started. I just wanted to do a music-based show on the station. That was the goal, was just to be a music DJ. I never went in saying like I'm going to go to this music station and do a talk show, because those shows they were there on WFMU, but they were in short supply, and they were not funny. That's the thing. It's like they were entertaining or weird or witty, but they weren't just like truly comedy based. And then when I did the show, I kind of started talking more on mic right off the bat and felt like, wow, okay, I'm comfortable being on air, not just playing records. And then it's slowly and steadily, I was talking more. And then a few years into me doing shows on and off, I was like, well, if I want to do a show the way I want to do a show there, I want it to be full on comedy, not a music show with a little bit of comedy in it, almost the exact reverse, where it would be a comedy show that has musical elements to it. And I think, and that's kind of how that was the initial impetus for The Best Show, was that.
And I remember,
were there any other shows that were music first? I'm sorry, comedy first.
7 Second Delay, which was Andy Breckman's show, was definitely a funny show on the station. I don't want to make like there were no funny shows on the station. That was a legitimate comedy show. but it was also not one that I would do necessarily. It was very it was 1 hour, first of all. It wasn't like I wanted to do stuff with John Worster. Really, that was another big part of it. John and I really, he's my best friend, and it's always weird to say that as an adult, to say that's my best friend.
Is this a scoop? We have a scoop here.
Scoop. Look
Tom
at
Scharpling,
this.
John Worster, our
I
best
love
friend.
it. I love it. Look at
That's a
that. Greg knows how to play the game.
Mike, cut out this clip. Boom, post it.
I'm leaving all the
flipping-
marketing to you. You've become a marketing genius. I mean, I can't even turn around without some new promotional thing going on.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see how long people can stomach that.
Yeah.
I can't take it anymore.
I can't. I go on Instagram, I see my face, I'm just like, who's this? Leave me alone. It's like, oh wait, that's me.
It was this impish devil staring back at me.
Who's this
Well,
guy? Won't give me a break, guy.
Well, yeah, you're I mean, last night's show was great. You did the Gary the Squirrel, which used to be very conflicting for me because I became the target of Gary.
Yes.
I see you've got a new. Is Scott Rogowski going to be a permanent target now?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. You also, I hope you noticed that Gary, I was watching also, Mike. I was watching as well. Gary also said he loved you.
Yes,
and
very
gave
nice.
You a shot. See,
I got
the
shout
evolution happens now.
It was quite enjoyable watching other people be the target. So yeah, I was just relaxing, enjoying the show.
You're out of the hot seat now.
Yeah, I'm out of the hot seat, but you found the whole California experience. I mean, you found a new gear. I mean, the show is just getting pumped up with all different things. I mean, you're on camera. I guess that's something to adjust to.
I'm not used to that. It's a huge thing to adjust to. I'm not used to it, and I never thought I wanted to do any version of that.
Yeah,
but all I can say, Mike, and this is truly from the bottom of my heart, I miss not being in the same room with you every week. I really do.
Yeah, I miss the camaraderie, I really miss it. The post-show wrap-up, and the whole vibe. Yeah,
so much fun. I do.
Yeah.
I'm excited about everything, and I'm grateful and proud of all this stuff. But a big part of my heart is always with you, Mike.
Yeah.
So just, you can know that that's truly how I feel. And I'm actually I'm honestly getting a little choked up saying
okay.
So
yeah, it was a fun part of my life, and it was there. I went through some difficult things, being part of the show, employment and family things. And
we've had people pass away, and work situations change, relation situations change, everything changed. That's a long time to be doing a thing together.
Yeah,
and I'm happy that even though I'm on the other side of the country now, we're figuring out a way to keep our thing going.
Yeah.
Which is very important to me.
I appreciate that. And it's been great. I'm enjoying all the music now. You've got a nice space there for bands to come in, and it's like I said, it feels like the show's hitting a new gear.
Yeah.
And it's keeps going. That's amazing.
And of course. And look, when you are able to travel, I hope you'll come out here as soon as you can.
Oh yeah. I'll do that.
I would love it. Everybody would love it. It'd be a blast.
Yeah.
You'd be just you, not you and Greg. I don't want Greg coming by. No offense, Greg. Mike earned this is it's Mike's moment, Greg. It's not that it's not your moment.
This is a nice
Mike's moment. I'm not trying to split it in half. Give the guy a moment.
Believe it or not, I've never been to California.
I believe that.
Have you been there, Greg?
I have.
Yeah. Okay.
This was a nice moment, though, guys. This was
seriously.
I wasn't expecting this, but although I didn't really hear what you said, because as it was happening, I was patting myself on the back. Like sportscasters, when a big moment happens in the game and they don't say anything, and then they get all the credit later on. Al Michaels, he just let it all play. He gave them the air and space they needed.
Yeah,
let it breathe.
In my head, I was like, man, everyone's gonna love me. Just breaking this up.
You are being rather laid back. I mean, I saw this show as like you and Tom were going to start. The fireworks were going to go, and then I was going to just kind of lay back and let it breathe.
I think we're two nice guys talking about the fact that one apparently doesn't understand comedy via the sitcom, but that's okay. That's all right. I didn't know what ice cream cake was until I was 35 years old. We're
Uh-huh.
always growing and optimizing.
Uh-huh.
Well, Mike, me and Greg have one thing in common. It's that we know you're the best in the biz, and that's.
This
And
guy,
I
is
gotta
good.
say,
This guy's good.
I just want to say one
Uh-huh.
thing,
Jesus,
Greg, on a personal level,
Fuck.
nothing was more satisfying after 17 years with Mike, always giving me the business. I'm hosting the thing, and he can come in and say whatever he wants. Starts chirping about fun packs and Coors Light, everything. He does all the things, and I have to. I'm like, well, I'm trying to hold down the show, and this guy's saying crazy stuff. He's throwing me curveballs left and right.
Agent of chaos.
He was an agent of chaos. Greg, the first time I listened to Egg Foo What, and I heard Mike trying to keep the show on point. Okay, let's get some focus here. And you were the agent of chaos for his. Suddenly he wasn't the agent of chaos anymore.
Yeah.
He was now having to be like, come on, let's get back to business, guys. Everything. Come on, let's tighten it up here. Nothing made me happier than to hear Mike in the other chair suddenly being the voice of responsibility and reason and structure. And
well,
like,
knowing
these
Greg
shows are going to be short. That's the other funny one.
Knowing Greg as long as I have, it was sort of a no-brainer. I mean, I knew what it was going to be going in. I just wanted to sort of tap into Greg's energy.
Yeah.
We've spent many hours carousing in bars in Williamsburg. Greg was at ground zero for the hipster explosion, which you chronicled on the best show. The rise of the white belt and
yes,
and guilty as charged.
McCarran Park with the
McCarran. Yeah, that's where we played softball. For years we were doing that, and that's
Mike,
when I was.
Did you tell them about your Cy Young season of 2004? This guy.
No, but I didn't seal the deal. We didn't win that final game.
Stop beating yourself up, Mike. 17 years later, you can't move on. You pitched every inning of the whole goddamn season. You maybe had 2 hits or something. You are Cy Young.
Wait a second. I wasn't such a bad hitter.
Hey, Bill Buckner had made peace with himself. You need to let this go.
Yeah, but
you did all you could for us that year.
You know what? It's funny. I remember that last game. We were playing for the championship, Tom.
Wow.
And I was enjoying. No, I'm saying this is a good moment, Greg. I'm not saying it was a bad moment.
Put the movie from Platoon through.
No, but I was enjoying it, and we were sort of winning towards the end, right? Am I remembering correctly? And then there was,
as the team's manager, I'd say we were doing more than kind of winning, sort of winning.
But there was an unfortunate error.
I drag you people on my back the whole summer, but
there was an unfortunate error, and we lost the lead in the game, tragically.
Mike, I didn't know you replay this every night.
Every night, Greg. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just excited that Greg made a reference to Platoon and didn't say MASH. Because 4 MASH is equal 1
not the movie
Platoon.
and not the book.
Sure. No, the movie MASH, that's an amazing movie, and that movie gets overlooked because of that TV show. The movie was when's the last time either of you saw the movie MASH?
I've seen it a couple times, not recently.
You are right in that I'm a little bit younger than Mike. I'm a lot younger.
Actually,
and
Greg and Tom are the same age, I believe. Tom's younger than me too. So I think you're roughly the same age.
Yeah. So did you? When did you see? Yeah. So MASH, you saw.
By the time I even knew it was a movie, I already had the show in my head.
Already had the show in your head.
Maybe more than any other show / movie, it's harder to make. They're so different. To me, it's hard to even think of them as the same being
Yeah.
from the same cloth.
I just think there's the movie captures like the real, like how the war turns everybody into less than human.
Mhm.
And the show would show the characters in moments of weakness or struggling with things, but they never became less than human.
Yeah. Well, and to at least, not in his defense, but I know Larry Gelbart, old friend of mine, R.I.P.
Sure, of course.
Always fought. He didn't want a laugh track, and they had to compromise. If you notice, which I wouldn't have, anytime they're in an operating scene, there's no laugh track, no matter what. And people over in England, I watch mostly shows on the BBC. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Pretty
Where's your pipe? You should have had a pipe on.
Yeah.
That you're going to here.
Apparently, everybody who grew up in England watching the show was shocked to learn that it even had a laugh track, because over there they didn't have the laugh track. So, but I was always like, I don't know much, but I didn't understand how they could always be shit faced, knowing that at the drop of a hat they had to like perform surgery, which I know lended itself to the comedy. But
I think they would explain that they did have certain days off during the week. They weren't on 24/7.
You don't want to, if you don't want to talk about the war, Mike, I get it. Just like how you ruined my 04 should have been championship team.
But the tone is very different between the movie and the TV series. I remember, I was pretty young when the movie came out, but I remember it was a big thing about the blood.
Sorry, did you see it in the theater?
No, I didn't see it in the theater. No,
but you remember?
I was too young, but I remember, I can remember when it came out. I mean, I remember the book. I think I may have bought the book. It had like the peace sign, but it was like a woman's body. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
That artwork.
Yeah.
So that gets your attention. I think at the time I may have started buying. My first book purchases were generally these novelizations of movies. But in that case, I mean, it was a legitimate book before the movie. But so I was always aware of the books and the movies that were out. And I remember there was controversy about the amount of blood in that movie, which by today's standards probably isn't that much.
No, it'd be pretty tame for that.
Yeah. But
I think the ugliness of it is not something that would feel tame at all.
Yeah.
Like the fact, like when they're where they like not, I forget what they like knock down the showers and all these things.
Yeah.
Like they were becoming as bad. The war was ruining them as people.
Yeah. I mean, the comic, the shower scene and and then even the football game, it just seemed sort of jarring, kind of didn't quite fit. It seemed, they're putting in these comic elements, and it kind of, I don't know. To me, it doesn't work perfectly.
Yeah.
What's that?
The football game is jarring.
Yeah.
In a silly way.
So it's not one of my favorite Altman movies, but it has its moments.
You know what I did learn, maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, is I don't know if you all remember when the final episode aired. I remember that as a kid and being shocked because they when they played the song, it had words to it.
Right.
Remember? Yeah. And I'm sure it's the whole country. Everybody's like, what? This song has words? And the name of the song is Suicide is Painless, which even as a kid, I was like, that sounds stupid. But then years later, you know who wrote the song?
The lyrics is Robert Altman's son.
His son.
Yeah.
Who was at the time. And I was like, of course, somebody who writes a song that Suicide is Painless is going to be a 14-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Which synced up perfectly. I got a kick out of that.
Wonder what kind of
But Mass just seemed like such a big thing. I don't know if I even think of it as a show or whatever. It just seems like such a
there.
Yeah, it was just always there. I don't mean that in a bad way.
No.
Just always there.
Look, Mike, look at me and Greg hitting it off.
I know. He's like, oh man.
Well, let's get to our food of the week. This is where I think we'll have a little bit of a conflict. Now, I asked you what you wanted to have and you went for the spicy shrimp.
Yes.
And there, we established very early on in Egg Foo that Greg does not like shrimp, which to me is just like kind of insane. But there you have it.
Can't have peanut butter on a Dorito guy.
Yeah, yeah. But
what don't you like about shrimp, Greg?
Well, I'm a texture guy.
Okay.
If you read my bio, and
yeah,
they just feel rubbery, gross. Like I don't like clams. I don't like. But I made the mistake of in confidence letting my old buddy Mike Lisk. I told him that I wasn't actually allergic to shrimp. I just don't like them and think they're disgusting.
He let the cat out of the bag.
And so when you were like, "Oh, sure, I'll come to your show. Come to your show. What should I eat?" He popped a hamstring, jumping up. Something with shrimp, spicy shrimp, shower shrimp, sweet shrimp.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Raw shrimp. I have shrimp right here. Would you like? We'll do shrimp.
That's not how it happened at all. I asked Tom what
on tape.
I asked Tom what he wanted to eat.
We are living in the age of everything is recorded, especially things that are specifically being recorded.
And he suggested the shrimp dish, which I knew would be a problem for you. But hey, it's Tom's the guest. We we let the guest pick the dish if they do that.
Knew it would be a problem for you.
Then I tried to cajole Tom into going down. You were challenging, I guess, everybody in the world to eat Egg Foo young. I did present it to Tom as an alternative, and he shied away.
Declined.
He declined.
And I'm not against trying Egg Foo young. I kind of feel like for me, I would probably be better off trying something truly that I'm not familiar with, not as a to-go item, if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense?
It does not. Walking through.
Okay.
I would think it'd be the opposite because you want to have it to go so you don't sit there in front of the owners. And if you're disgusted by it, then they see that. And then you have to avoid that section of town forever.
Well, no, I think that doesn't make sense to me. You're a customer. You come back anytime
You're
you
right.
want. You just didn't like the Egg Foo
You're right,
young.
Mike. I hate this guy.
I would say, I mean, in the way that if you go to the place, you can say, so the Egg Foo young, is it like this? Is it like that? You can ask a question or two about it before you get it, and then you can get a little bit of context for it. It's like, rather than just ordering it off a menu.
I presented it the way I present it to people if they ask is it's like an omelet.
Yeah.
And it's like an omelet with brown gravy, which to me is sort of the potential deal breaker. When I had it, I used the gravy sparingly because it seemed odd for me to put brown gravy on an omelet. So I did have the experience. It was okay. Maybe better than I thought it was going to be. But what was even better was the next day. I think this is one of those rare dishes where the next day it's kind of better.
Okay.
Yeah. You just zap it in the microwave. I don't think I even used the gravy that time. It was like a straight up omelet to me. And it was more enjoyable.
And this thing was ready to go the next day, just out of the microwave. It wasn't too dry.
No.
Okay.
It's one of those Chinese food for me in general is pretty good in the microwave. You give it 1 or 2 minutes and it's,
something
it's
about the way it all congeals together, and the gravy saves it the next day. The gravy is the deal breaker for me.
Okay.
If the gravy's no good, I'm not eating it. I don't care what's in it, where it's blah 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 blah. It's all the gravy is the most important.
And you're a big fan of Egg Foo young in general?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If desert island food for sure. Easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I would again encourage you to try Egg Foo young. I think it does seem, as somebody anybody who's listened to this podcast for more than 3 minutes knows I'm not a brave trier of foods. And I can see where it's weird looking. What's up with this gravy or whatever? But as a very picky eater,
Okay.
I would again suggest you try it.
Okay.
Maybe
Look,
the
I
next
will try it.
episode.
I will try it. I will try it. Greg, I promise you this.
Uh-oh. Recording, Mike? Make sure this is recording.
Mike, make sure this is
Sure this
recorded.
is
If I'm ever lucky enough to, I even say blessed enough to get welcomed back to Egg Foo what?
Uh-huh.
I will do the Egg Foo Young on that episode.
There you go.
That's I'll put my money where my mouth is on that one.
nice.
So we did have what you suggested, the hot and spicy. Was yours called hot and spicy or just spicy shrimp?
Mine was called spicy shrimp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not so hot. Now I looked, but see, here's another thing, Mike. I looked at that picture you sent,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks just like some rice and the usual couple of vegetables, and then like 2 shrimp thrown on there.
Well, yeah.
Another case of the same 3 items. They just move it around.
Well, I did get the combination. I opted for the combination. So I got pork fried rice with mine. I didn't go for the larger. I would have got a larger portion. But actually that photo is deceptive because I did have 6 healthy, chunky pieces of shrimp.
Mhm.
And what I liked, the vegetables, instead of being that sort of chunky version we've been getting, and actually I saw Tom's photo, he got the chunky vegetables. I got the thin strips. Did you notice that with my vegetables?
Did notice, yeah.
Yeah, which I don't think I've gotten them with any dish yet.
I noticed they were, like strips of green beans.
Yeah, it was strips of peppers, onions, carrots. I think there was a little, what are those sort of flat green?
Water, like wait,
Is
no,
that water?
not
It's
the water
green.
chestnuts.
Green.
Black and green, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, chives?
But what are you saying?
Chives?
Maybe that's what it was. And they were just tiny pieces. They weren't large.
Right.
So yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. And I definitely will finish. I mean, I ate all the shrimp tonight, but I'll just have the vegetables, and the pork fried rice is going to be nice for leftovers.
How spicy was yours?
Yeah, spicy, it's funny. I was thinking about while I was eating, I had a nice little afterburn after I was done. But while I was eating it, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't really feeling any heat.
Sure.
I was thinking about how when I first started working in New York, we used to go to a little Chinese restaurant. No, it was a takeout place. It was like a basement. I mean, I think there was like two tables in the place. So it was. No, this was at my first job in New York was a place called Human Sciences Press. And I remember going there one afternoon, and I went with a spicy dish with a hot and sour soup. And I was literally in tears because of the heat from just those 2 things, one after the other, which was a mistake having one after the other because the hot and sour soup was actually hot. You don't even get that ever. I've never gotten it again. Hot and sour soup is supposed to be spicy, and you don't get that. And I think it's in America, a lot of restaurants, they shy away from making it hot and spicy, figuring it's going to be too much for people to take. And I always feel disappointed when I get a so-called hot and spicy dish, and it's like not really that hot and spicy.
Now,
But
Mike,
this was nice. It was nice.
Sure, it was like so. It was just like mine was similar to yours. I think it was not truly spicy. It was more, I guess you would say, had a zing to it, a zesty, like a little bit of a kick to it, but almost in a flavorful way, not in a straight on spicy heat way. And I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on Thai food, Mike?
I like Thai food. I mean, I can't say I've really explored that too much. I used to have like one dish. I loved, like chicken pad Thai.
Sure.
So I could just get that every time I went, and I enjoy that. But I should really explore that more. But
because that's where I've had the hottest food experiences is with Thai food, where I would order something and it would be like punishingly
Okay.
spicy.
All right, that's good.
Where I would be
Uh-huh.
like sweating
Mm-hmm. And
from
this is
eating it.
in New Jersey, not New York.
It was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's good to know.
There's some really good Thai places in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just gauging the the Thai places seem like they'll go for it in terms of putting the spices in the food
Okay.
more than the Chinese food places.
I used to
found.
normally, yeah, I used to have the reflex whenever I would order spicy food to even say, "Hey, can you make it spicy?" Which they might find insulting, but you know, it's only because I've sort of been disappointed lots of times.
Do you think it's because Thai is relatively new as a cuisine to us, as opposed to Chinese food's been around since the 50s, so they've kind of ordered it. They've had decades to kind of water. And I don't want to
That's
be
an idea, yeah.
oh, I'm better than I'm your normal American schlub, but maybe because Thai is still new, they have it a little more authentic and keep the heat. Maybe.
Mhm.
I could see that. I think it might be a little more of the selling point is that the spices are an appealing component to Thai food. It doesn't seem like that's really the draw for a lot of Chinese food. It's not just like, oh my God, let's see if you can handle this.
A lot of comfort food with Chinese food now, I think.
I think so. Yeah, I think Chinese food seems like it's been pretty Americanized
Thai, when
over
somebody
the course
says
of the decades.
when somebody says you want to do Thai tonight, it does seem a little more exotic than Chinese. It has that little extra bit of like, oh shit, I better look at the menu. Or
I
I mean, I just didn't grow up with it. It's just
Oh,
like Thai food was not around as an option.
no.
I was lucky to have in Bayonne. It had a funny name.
As a kid?
No,
Thai food?
no. This is it's still in Bayonne. A restaurant called Thai O'Brien's, which I think there's
Thai Irish?
I think there's. It's not like they have anything Irish on the menu, but I think there's some Irish family members or whatever. So they had this unique name. And I remember they would start you off with a little bowl of hot sauce. Just, I guess they'd make it, and it would be there ready for you could put it on anything, whatever you got.
Okay.
And one of my actually it was my uncle's brother was a big fan of hot food. He passed away a few years. Really good guy, Joe, and he was always sort of pushing the limits with the hot food. He even grew his own hot peppers and stuff. I mean, it was amazing. Okay. But he told a story about how he went to Ty O'Brien's for the first time, and that bowl of hot sauce is sitting there. He thought it was just like sort of an appetizer.
Oh no!
And he just ate it. He just
so he put it back.
He just like it was nothing to him to just eat a bowl of hot sauce. I always thought that was amazing. But
no,
I looked at you.
That put me in the hospital.
Oh, is that liked it?
Yeah, he just ate the whole bowl with like a spoon. I guess he had something to eat it with. Yeah.
I could do that with extra young gravy, but that's not hot.
I mean, where do you stand with hot food, Greg? I've never heard you really sort of
spicy. I'm a total wuss.
Yeah. Don't like the hot peppers, any of that stuff.
Like I'll always get the mild or whatever. I can go a little hot, but life is hard enough. I don't feel need to be punished by my food. Like I don't have a lot going on, so it's like, well, if I can make myself happy with the food, that's enough. But and again, maybe it's because my parents being from Massachusetts, I think I have a little bit of that mush mouth where everything's just bland. Irish, so it's just boiled potatoes all the time. So not to promulgate stereotypes. Not to promulgate's a word, but promulgate. I don't know.
Now, Tom, I saw the photo of your dish, and I sent you mine. I mean, in comparison, yours looks kind of dry.
Oh, shots fired!
It didn't seem like there was like much sauce on the shrimp.
Calling out California and their Chinese bullshit. This is real Jersey shit going down now.
Hold on, let me look at the pack.
Is that accurate?
Mine was not dry at all. No, there was plenty of sauce under. There was like a bed of sauce.
Okay.
There that was waiting for once I started putting it on a plate. mix it in with the rice.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't need anything else. No soy sauce, no nothing.
What was the viscosity of the sauce? Was there a certain, how you say,
It was
goopiness?
not a certain what now?
Goopy. He's got this thing with
No.
goop. Yeah.
No, it was not. It was very, it was not goopy, not clumpy. It was not thick. It was just almost like the way you'd get, like, it was not far away from just a garlic sauce that you get on Chinese food. It was like a little more heightened garlic sauce.
Not like a sticky gelatinous.
No.
Yeah,
Have you noticed, is there a difference since you've been out in California? In my head, I would assume the Chinese food is better because I would assume it's like cleaner and simpler and nicer.
You're fine with New Jersey Chinese food. Also, it's not much of a difference in that regard at all.
Another big win for Jersey, Mike.
Jersey always wins. Jersey always
Call
wins.
off your little Jersey rat minions.
I just gonna get any argument from me.
Was the shrimp? The shrimp even looked a little like it may have been breaded. Tom, is that?
No,
it wasn't breaded.
The shrimp was really good.
Okay,
the shrimp was really good. It was there was more than 6 in there. There was at least
all right.
It was a really pretty satisfying because I like to dole out the shrimp very strategically, where I just you don't want to peak too early, then you're left with just a bowl thing of vegetables.
What happened to me?
You don't want to burn through the rice too quickly.
Did price wise, was it pricey?
It was $14.
Oh, okay,
so
yeah, mine was 13.
it's kind of right there, right, for like decent to go Chinese food. A meal's usually $10 to $15, I would say.
I got the combination, so I got an egg roll.
Okay, that's nice.
The egg roll. The egg rolls at this place I went to today, though, they're not that good. They're kind of thin, and the crust is kind of thick, so you're getting more roll than stuffing. But anyway, I ate it, of course.
Yeah.
So where would you rate this? I mean, we have a 1 to 10 rating.
I would give this a hard 7. Soft 8.
Okay. And you've had this dish?
7.
I mean, how many scores can we give? What the...
I have not eaten at this place before. No, I've never ordered Chinese food in this neighborhood, so I just had to poke around and find a place that looked that kind of checked all the boxes, as they say on Love Island. Greg, another British show that I'm
writing that down. Love.
Now, is this one of your go-to dishes, or what are your go-to dishes generally with Chinese takeout, or do you tend to avoid Chinese takeout?
No, I'll say this. Out here in Los Angeles, I live in an area, the San Gabriel Valley. It's about 20 minutes away from what everybody thinks of Los Angeles when they see it. Like, I can be in Los Feliz, which is like a cool neighborhood, in like 20 or so minutes. So I'm not far away. And look, you know what it's like in New Jersey. We drive to places. It's not hard for me to roll with a 20-minute drive. You get used to you live in New Jersey, that gets worked out of you very quickly. You don't have to be, it's not a problem to be 20 minutes away from something. But this neighborhood, the food critic, what was his name? Jonathan Gold, I believe, the famous Los Angeles food critic, probably maybe getting his name wrong, was a big proponent of San Gabriel Valley. He would say that the best Chinese food, the best Asian food, Korean barbecue, Vietnamese, Thai food, it's not in Los Angeles, it's in San Gabriel Valley, the adjoining little neighborhood there. It's kind of next to Pasadena is where I am. It's like,
okay.
So
did you know all that when you thought to ask Tom on the show? Was that Did
Yeah.
you know all that?
No, I didn't. I'm learning
Mike
things.
knew none of Mike.
This
knew
is
none.
this is very informative.
But you
I
can
like to
throw a
learn things.
rock. You throw a rock in the area I'm in, which is a bunch of towns, is considered the San Gabriel Valley area. You can find some of the best Asian food, like there's a place I love so much in a town called Alhambra. There's it's one, like there are these local chains where it's like there's 6 of them, but they're all in this very small area.
Like
It's not an
they're
actual
growing,
chain.
yeah.
Exactly. But this is not. There's a chain called Noodle World.
Okay.
And there's one in Alhambra that I love to go to that you go there and you look at the outside of the place, you're like, yeah, this clearly used to be a different place. This was this didn't start as a noodle world. It ended up as a noodle world. Then you go in and you're like, well, what place did it used to be? I'm trying to get a read on the architecture here. You go in and they have 2 giant Bob's Big Boy statues still in Noodle World of Bob's Big Boy, the big boy holding a hamburger.
Those things look pretty heavy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. There's no hamburgers in this place. And then there's a little sign at the bottom of the Bob's Big Boy statue. It says, Bob's Big Boy is not affiliated with Noodle World in any, like, it's a disclaimer. So, but the food there, it's $10. The food is like $10 for an entree, and it's seriously good stuff. It just has the place in terms of the aesthetics of the place is the aesthetics. You'd give it a 2. The food I'd give a 9.
Did you ever ask about the big boy? What was it? Just too expensive to have them removed? I mean, those things didn't look very heavy. Yeah, I don't think they're in New Jersey anymore, but there was a time when they were here, because I remember having one of the most memorable conversations with one of my friends, and I think it was pure BS, but he was trying to make the argument that if I bought a big boy restaurant, I could call it Mike's Big Boy. That it all depended on who the owner was. That Bob wasn't exclusive. The chain was Big Boy, but you could put your name above it.
That's not accurate at all.
That does sound like bullshit.
No, it was BS. But
wildly inaccurate.
I gave him credit for trying to make such a bizarre argument. It wasn't as bad as I had one friend. I don't know if you remember these commercials.
I don't watch TV.
No, okay. Chris, who was the guy? I mean, I'm dating myself. You guys probably don't even remember him. There was a sportscaster, Chris. He would do Chris something. He would do college football.
Chris Berman.
No. Oh, I hate that guy. No, it was before Chris Berman.
You set him off.
Yeah,
but it wasn't Chris Berman.
No.
You know what? I love Chris Berman.
Oh, you like that guy?
Nobody loves Chris Berman.
Oh, okay. He's But anyway, this guy did a commercial. I guess the glass industry wanted to, let people know. I guess maybe canned beer was coming up, and the glass industry was feeling the pinch.
You're older than us.
So there was a commercial where this guy was touting the great taste of beer comes in a bottle, and it was it was for the glass industry. It wasn't for a beer. But one of my dumb friends thought that was an actual beer. The great taste of beer comes in a bottle. This was the same guy who thought that Dr. Spock Presents, the famous pediatrician, that was a spinoff from Star Trek. So
I will say, as a kid, I didn't look. As a kid, I wasn't. No offense to your friend, Mike. I wasn't that stupid as a kid.
Yeah, no, this guy had some classic lines.
But as a kid, I remember being confused by when I heard that there was a Dr. Spock who wrote books about babies, and that there was Spock on Star Trek. I was just like,
is it the same Spock?
I was just like, well, what's going on? I didn't think they were the same Spock. I knew one was in the future. and one, but I was just like, well, that's weird. How did that happen is what I was interested in. Like, what's the origin of that? I wasn't thinking they were the same in any way. I was wondering like who came first,
so to speak.
The other classic line from this guy was, as we're driving, why does this guy have his brake lights on? As we're heading for the tailgate. So yeah, no, this guy had some one-liners.
It's your friend Yogi Berra. Those are some Yogi Berra level.
Yeah, I haven't seen this person in a long time. We phased him out. He wasn't quite a fit.
Well, we'll get him on the show soon enough.
Yeah.
So you said 7, 8.
Solid 7.
I'd give mine a solid 8. I mean, I think maybe coming off last week's loathsome 4th season may have made it like a welcome home. But no, I enjoyed it, and I'm going to finish the leftovers tomorrow, even though the shrimp are gone. So yeah, 8.
Well, Mike, you have to realize I give things I'm very conservative with my rating on things.
All right, here we go.
Taking a page from your book. Because Greg, I wrote a book. Mike gives it a review over at Goodreads. Goodreads?
Yeah, Goodreads.
You think if somebody who's been in your life for almost 2 decades went and wrote a book, wouldn't you just say 5 stars? Wouldn't you just say 5?
Yes.
But I'll say this.
Not this guy.
What'd you give it? 4?
I gave it 4.
Mike gave it 4.
That's the very impressive review. Look at the other 4s I gave.
This is what I'll say about it. Did it sting? Yeah, it stung. Do I understand it? Yes, I do. Do I respect it? Yes, I do.
And it made good radio. We're going to have an ongoing bit for the rest of
absolutely for the rest of the end of time.
I mean, there's so many things going on in that rating, you know. But
me,
a 4 by your standards,
yeah,
I'll take it.
I had a friend review my book, raved about it in his review. It is a good friend, so I'm like, of course he's gonna raved about it in a review, and then 4 stars.
Yeah,
what gets 5? What gets 5? The Bible?
What gets 5?
No, the Bible got 3 stars, Tom.
3. Well, then I feel even
the Bible
better.
got 3 stars, so your rating was higher than the Bible. There you go. That's what I'm saying. The 4-star rating is not a bad rating at all.
What do you give? What's the highest rating you've ever given a book then on Goodreads?
Yeah, I've given some 5s.
Or what's a 4? What would you equate Tom's book with?
Well, I think I threw out some of my 4s. Neil Young biography. I think I gave that a 4.
One of the worst written books ever.
This man wrote
no, not Shaky.
Shaky. Shaky's one of the best written books.
Yeah. Shaky.
I love Shaky.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were giving me. You're comparing me to Waging Heavy Peace.
No. That's. I said biography, not the autobiography. Right. Yeah, the autobiography is pretty bad. Yeah, I think I gave that. Yeah, I think that got a lower rating. I think that got like a 3.
Oh, good. No, Shaky is a great book.
Yeah,
what's a 5-star book for you, Mike?
5-star book.
The Road.
Didn't I make the case for Madame Bovary? I think with you. That became an ongoing bit.
Sure,
but like James Joyce or Franz Kafka. Some heavy hitters.
Yeah. Well, I got something to aspire toward. I got something to aim for now. I gotta.
So Tom's book is like at the 1-yard line, but you can't kick it in that extra 3 feet with Kafka and James Joyce. Just you have this friend who wrote a book that you are legit saying is just a skosh under Kafka. Yes, it's good, but you can't give him the 5.
I respect it.
Be amazed.
Greg,
oh my
I've
God!
done a 180, Greg. I wouldn't want anything higher than a 4 now. I got because Mike. If anything, Mike is a master. He's a master of psychological manipulation. He now has set me ablaze with to now beat that 4.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah.
I'd be resting on my laurels.
There you go. Yeah, that's part of it.
At least
it's a motivator.
At least your book is big enough. You have actual people reading it and giving reviews. My book, the 8 friends I badgered into buying and reading it. And this guy who I'm now I know he lives in Michigan. We were friends. We were on the 2004 softball team that Mike bungled our
And
playoff.
I take offense
now
to
the
this.
tides
Also.
have turned.
I take offense to this. You win as a team, you lose as a team.
I don't think so.
Mike brought you there. You wouldn't have even been in the dance if if that golden arm didn't do what it did.
I carried Mike and the rest of the team on my back that time. I had to drag these people to the playoffs.
It's still a mystery, Greg, why you never played. Greg was our coach, Tom. He, look at the man. He's
I don't think it's a mystery why I never played.
No, but I mean, I think you could swing a bat. It was softball. It wasn't hard ball, fast pitch. Well, I think you connect with the ball. You're going to put it out there. I mean, you're a big man.
Look, did I on my high school team my senior year have the game-winning RBI in the Northern Neck District Tournament game? Yes, I did. That's where I left that game.
So you left on a high note. You didn't want to ever.
That's right.
See the decline of your abilities.
It's like at the end of Abbey Road when they stick Her Majesty on there. It was perfect. It's perfection. And then we stick down on it. Why would I stick this on when I already had the perfect ending? It's like if I may compare myself to Michael Jordan.
Go ahead.
You may.
And I may. Thank you for suggesting I may. It's like Jordan going to the Bullets or Wizards.
Yeah.
Like
Wizards.
Sorry.
The Bullets have become the Wizards.
So Greg was one of the suckers. I mean, super fans who bought the Revolver box set.
Yeah, that was me. I was the one guy. I was the only sucker out there that bought these.
Well, come on, they're just gouging now. Come on, they're gouging.
I love it.
Any opinions, Tom?
Mike, I look at it with these Beatles box things as being. I look at them and I go, "This is the last time I do this," and then I buy
keep doing it.
No, I'm just saying for each album. If they ever came out with another Revolver one, they could jump in a lake. You guys want to do one final thing where you go deep on Revolver? I'll do it. I'll do it. Fine. Don't just keep doing it though. Don't go back like 5 years from now if there's a new Revolver packaging. It's like no. I took the leap with you once.
I told Mike this before. I don't go in for every couple of years they remaster. I don't do that. But this being a special, 5 LP set, stuff I've never heard. We didn't even know about this Yellow Submarine nonsense until this. So this I'm happy to buy. Yeah, if they come out next year, we remastered it.
Yeah, no.
Don't care.
Go away. Go away.
I listened to it. I listened to the whole thing. I mean, it's not, you bought the albums, right? You bought the vinyl, Greg?
I did.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to it all. And like any of these box sets with outtakes, you get the multiple versions, you get the chatter, the background chatter, and none of the well, you're raving about these demos of Yellow Submarine, which has a very different tone. I'll give you that. Is it better than the version that came out?
Yeah.
Well, anything would be better than a version that came out. That's the worst Beatles song.
Well, yeah.
How it went from where it started to how it ended is pretty astonishing. That shows you how confident these guys are. They take that and they're like, fuck it, let's just throw it as a kid's throwaway song. That's pretty confident.
So I listened to all of that and I had the thought, so Revolver, you throw out Yellow Submarine, you add Paperback Writer.
Yeah.
What would be the second song to get Rain on Revolver? I thought it may be Dr. Robert. I'm not such a.
I love Dr. Robert.
It's all right, but
here's the dirty secret to me about Revolver, and you guys know this. Big fans of my blog already know this, so I apologize. As great as Got to Get You Into My Life and Here, There, and Everywhere are, and they are great. As a McCartney guy, to me, they feel a little bit like this is Paul McCartney being Paul McCartney. Two great exercises done by Paul McCartney. And they're amazing songs. But if one of them disappeared for Rain, would I be happier? Yeah. Ironically, probably it's not ironic, but those are two of the biggest Beatles songs everybody loves the most, but that by far not my favorite songs on Revolver in the least.
And which ones were those again? You said it was
Gotta Get You to My Life and Here, There, and Everywhere.
Sure.
Which are obviously monster, incredible songs.
Mm-hmm.
But if they slipped away, I wouldn't. And were replaced by Payback Right in the Rain, I'd be happy.
I mean, I would ditch Here, There, and Everywhere before I would Got to Get You into My Life, because at least that is a look. There'd be no blood, sweat, and tears without Got to Get You into My Life.
Testify.
There'd be no Chicago without. No, I feel like at least that's punchy with the horns, and it's kind of exciting in its own way. And it's unlike anything they had done at that point, like a real full-on R&B song.
Especially when you hear that they had thought about going to Muscle Shoals or Stags to record it. So that at least gives you a little bit of that dirty horns thing that you're right. Sure. They didn't do a lot. Whereas Here, There, Everywhere, it's just a beautiful.
But also Here, There, and Everywhere, you could make a case that is such a perfectly crafted song. There's not a note that isn't where it should be. Like that's him at his most precisely perfect.
Yes.
But he's done that before. It's not the first time he's done that. It's
like the perfect Paul McCartney being the perfect Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
In a way that if you didn't like McCartney, that's I love Paul McCartney, but am I? And I can't remember the last time I ever was excited to play Here, There, Everywhere. So.
You know what song I'd bounce off of Revolver? Nobody's going to want to hear this one. Eleanor Rigby.
Wow. Okay. And controversial.
Not one of my favorites.
Wow. This is the headline for this show.
It was never one of my favorites.
Tom Scharpling hates Eleanor Rigby.
No, I don't hate it. I'm just saying if something's got to go, make Eleanor Rigby a single, standalone single.
Okay.
Then put the light psych of Rain and Paperback Writer fit right into the flow of Revolver. Then you've got the greatest psych album that's ever been recorded.
Okay. All right. You're making your case.
I disagree heavily. Number one, I love that. And I love it signals what Revolver is going to be. It's like, oh, second song, we got strings. This is going to be different. I thought you may say Taxman because it's a good song, but for an album that lifts such heights lyrically, musically, culturally, it opens with a song that, from what I've figured out about George Harrison, it's not a metaphor. I think when he bitches about taxes, he's just bitching about taxes.
Oh, no, he's complaining about, look, he was 23 and they were taking his money away from him. They handed him a pile of money and then they took most of it back. He's going to write a song about the tax man then.
It's of all songs for them to say, let's let George open an album with. It's funny that it's one where he just bitches about taxes and doesn't pretend. Like McCartney every couple of years changes what Blackbird is about to kind of fit whatever we want. None of that with Taxman. Is it about this, that, about taxes? It's about a generational shift in it. No, taxes.
Yeah.
I've never
loved that. Maybe take Good Day Sunshine off of it then. Maybe keep Eleanor Rigby, take Good Day Sunshine off.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
Because at least Eleanor Rigby goes somewhere that they hadn't been either. It's a very intense, the strings are intense, the chorus is huge.
Yeah.
Good Day Sunshine is, not that anybody could have done that, but that's one that Paul could do in his sleep.
Yeah, I agree. I could switch out to keep Eleanor Rigby if we lost. It sounds, now that I'm saying out loud, it sounds like I hate Revolver because I'm getting rid of
Revolver and the White Album, my two favorite Beatles album.
Yeah, and I'll say this, and you guys having a nice moment earlier gives me the part of why I did get this box set as opposed to others is there is a feeling of I'm in this together with other fans, and we're sharing this moment that you don't really get a lot anymore with anything, much less music. I feel like it's part of a collective. Isn't this amazing? Paul and Ringo are still alive, and we're all enjoying this together. I have to say that does play into how happy I am to have this, as opposed to any other things that'd be bopping around. So,
sure. No, I think they do. They've been doing an excellent job with so much of this Beatles, with maintaining the catalog and respecting the catalog. It's all first class, everything they've done, and I appreciate it as a fan that they hold it to a high quality. And that's the same thing with the Dylan stuff, is generally been at a high quality, all the bootleg things. And I mean, I could take or leave certain eras with that stuff, but it's generally there's a quality there. So I appreciate when people tend to the catalogs like this.
Have you picked up the Dylan book, Tom? Any interest there?
I do have some interest. I won't, it's the kind of thing I won't be reading it anytime soon, so I just didn't buy it. I did buy the Quentin Tarantino book.
Okay.
Cinema Speculation, which I'm very curious about.
Yeah, I think I'll pick up that at some point with my love-hate relationship.
Mike, I'm gonna tell you this, Mike.
Do you know this?
There's a promise to you, Mike. You come to Los Angeles, me and you, we go to the New Beverly, which is the theater that Quentin Tarantino owns out here. And the everything's on film. It's only projected on film. That's not going to do Greg much good. Because I guess unless they could put an episode of MASH on film and project it at 35 millimeter, show an episode of Cheers in 35 millimeter. Greg's out of luck on this one. But it is a truly special experience, and his love of movies comes through when you go to that theater. You realize it's like, man, this guy loves movies and has really literally put his money where his mouth is. The snack bar, the concession stand is shockingly affordable. Like, it's not overpriced.
Yeah.
It's really just a great experience to go to this theater. There's memorabilia all over. Like, they'll find posters for the movie that they're playing. They'll find an original poster and put that up. There's
no, I mean, it looks like a great place. It looks like like the Film Forum was always my favorite in New York. It helped that I worked down the block from it, which was nice, and I got to go there a lot. But everything I've seen about the New Beverly looks like a great experience. So how many times have you run into him there? Or
I've never seen him there. I've seen other people there.
Oh, okay.
I saw the one of the best movie going experiences I've ever had was there when the movie Summer of Soul, the movie that Questlove made, the documentary about the festival in 1969. They struck 135 millimeter print of the movie, and they showed it on a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday. And I bought tickets on the Friday just to go see the movie. I'd seen it already. I was like, well, I want to see it in a theater. Bought tickets, and then after I got the tickets, they announced, Questlove's going to be there, and he's going to do a Q&A after. So immediately sold out. So I was thankful that I got tickets beforehand, went to the Q&A, went to the movie, saw it. It's a beautiful movie, projected on film. Questlove was there, and you could watch. He was just sitting in the back row of the theater. So you're watching him watch the movie for the first time he's ever seen it on film. And so it was a very special experience, and then he talked to everybody. It was just those nights that's one of the best things about being out here. Things like that happen here.
Yeah.
So
how big is the theater? Like, how intimate was it?
It's a good size. It's a decent sized, like a standard suburban movie theater, I guess is the way to call it. It's not a giant, like one of the giant,
about 100 people
in Midtown. A few hundred,
a
few hundred.
Okay.
Yeah, like but it's not like the big theaters in Midtown where I can't even remember the names of them. The ones where they would do where the movies were an event.
Yeah.
Like it's not like that.
Stadium seating.
Yeah, but this is not stadium. This is like
Yeah.
a classic old theater that he had the seats redone in, but kept it true to what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really fun time.
Yeah. No.
His love of movies is contained. Like I said here a million times, I've only watched a handful of his movies. Like it's just not really my thing. I watch TV. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I could listen to him for hours talking about movies because he's just so infectious, and his passion is so infectious. I could listen. I'd rather listen to him talk about movies than watch one of his movies.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah.
I've read multiple biographies of Frank Zappa, but I don't want to listen to Frank Zappa's music. But I'm interested in the person.
Right.
How is the book laid out? I mean, is he going through movie by movie analysis, or
I haven't even opened it yet.
okay.
I bought it
yeah.
and it's sitting there. I can't wait.
No, I'll probably pick it up at some point.
Maybe Santa will bring you a copy, Mike. Put it on your list if you're good.
I'm
Come down
halfway
the
through.
chimney.
I'm halfway through the Bob Dylan thing, and it's sort of a
Wait. Did you finish To Kill a Mockingbird?
no. That's been put on the back burner because I'm reading the Bob Dylan book.
I mean, does the Bob Dylan book take that much?
No, but it's caught my interest. Books are always vying for my interest, and so the one it's like a race. Who's Mike gonna pick up tonight?
They're always auditioning for you.
They're always in
They
competition.
always have to make the team.
They have to get my interest.
Yeah.
And so I'm about halfway through the Bob Dylan book. It reminds me of the Theme Time radio hour, his radio show, where basically he would do little essays in between the songs about the songs. So this is kind of the same thing. He selected, I think, 66 songs, and he's going through them one by one. Some are more interesting than others. Some are like way out there. He does Webb Pierce, country guy song, There Stands the Glass, which is sort of a classic drinking country song. And you think, well, maybe he'll talk about, he's hinted at struggles with alcohol himself, and he sells alcohol, so maybe he'd talk about whiskey or something. But no, you get sort of a flashback, flash forward. The song came out in the 50s. He flash forwards to Vietnam and an atrocity, and it's like, what does this have to do with this song? That's been like the weirdest one. So he goes off on these weird tangents. I don't know if you guys are big fans of Walt Whitman. I know Greg's a big poetry fan.
I mean, he had the book I love.
But when you read Walt Whitman, it's like he kind of rambles too, and you keep reading because you're going to get to great stuff. So that's kind of the way this book is. He kind of rambles on. He sort of likes to. He's a big fan of like multiple clauses, and sort of bringing up like old slang and stuff. So it's he's got this very distinct style of writing, which is enjoyable. I like it.
What's he saying? Oh, you kid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an example ready, but yeah, he just likes to pile on. Like if he can describe thing one way or describe things 5 ways, he's going to go for the 5 ways.
Sure.
He's going to give you 5 different versions of the same observation, but it's enjoyable. And at some point, we could talk about it down the line.
Maybe does Tom, do you have any thoughts on the fact that Mike is the only adult who cannot seem to make his way through To Kill a Mockingbird?
He'll get there.
You read it, Tom?
I read To Kill a Mockingbird.
Did you have to read it in school, or?
I think I did read it in school. Yeah, I remember loving it.
Yeah.
Mike.
I love the movie. I figured like I've got it all from the movie. But
Come on,
I mean,
I'll get back to it
after him shitting on To Kill a Mockingbird. I'm not saying you need to review your thoughts on him giving your book a 4-star rating.
Yeah. Now I feel better than ever.
Consider the reviewer.
Yeah.
He does literally like your book more than he likes To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay. All right, I'll take
I
it.
did have the impetus of waiting to come across my name, so that
You can't refuse to
I
read.
don't think my
Kill
name's gonna
Mockingbird.
pop up into Kill Mockingbird.
Yeah, well, if it
You
does,
can't
there's a
refuse to
problem.
read that and then throw words like impetus around.
Yeah,
To impress everybody.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Did you guys have a Boo Radley in your neighborhood?
If we say no, does that mean we were the Boo
It's like
Radley?
that. Yeah, it's like that.
You
It
look
is
around,
like that.
you don't see the Boo Radley.
I don't know. You know, that's one thing I thought about. I mean, there were, you know, you have all sorts of families, and
Mhm.
some families get more grief than others.
Well, Tom,
Yeah.
how not to switch subjects, but how long have you been out in California?
It is now 3 years. 3 years. Unbelievable. I thought it was 2, and then I do the math. I came out here right before the pandemic started.
Yeah. Now, if I throw out a few things that your name has been on, would you mind commenting?
Greg, you're the host.
Now that you're on, you know, put you on the spot. I saw that you did at least one episode, or maybe the whole season of What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, I worked on the first season of the show.
Oh, can I just say, whatever the words people say when they are trying to be cool, but that has to be right now. I just finished the 4th season, and it's still, it might be the number one in terms of just pure comedy, the funniest show on TV.
Oh, great. I'm glad. I was a lot of fun to work on. And yeah, Matt Berry is Matt Berry's an actual friend, and I talk to him all the time, and he's just one of the funniest people I've ever seen. Watching him work was just the best thing ever.
Oh wow. Yeah, he's just, not only is everything he works on funny, but he just seems like, you watch him in Toast of London, and the way he entered the IT crowd that first episode, father, like just on the floor funny.
He can take any line. Jermaine Clement, who co-created the movie and the series, he created the series, co-created the movie. He would always say, sometimes we'll work on the show and he just put a little berry juice on it, and Matt can I'm doing a terrible New Zealand accent, but he would always refer to as putting a little berry juice on it, that Matt can take an okay line and make it great.
Yeah, he does have that. He can say anything and it's funny, and the more Matt Berry he is, the funnier it is. So
absolutely.
And then the other one, and this is tangential, and you might get upset, but I know you were big to do on Monk.
I'm not going to get upset about that.
And
I was there from the pilot to the final episode, Greg. 8 seasons I worked
8
there.
seasons. Now I've never watched a second of Monk. Sorry, not my thing. But I love Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah,
I love him in Miss Maisel.
mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's great in Monk, but of course I love Antonio Scarpacci. What is he like in person? Is he as great as I imagine he is? Did he ever talk about being Antonio to you? Keep it to under 40 minutes, please.
Tony Shalhoub was the nicest person I ever got to work with. He would go to bat for everybody. He would stick up for people. A true high character human. He was just and still is a good guy, and I was having like a contract dispute once, and then he went to the head of the network and said, I can't do the show without this guy, which is not true. He could have done the show without me, but he went to the mat, made a difference in my personal life and my career with that. That's the kind of person he was. And You know what I would recommend if you are interested in Tony Shalhoub? You probably should watch Monk. There's 125 episodes of it, Greg, and it's you're talking about Wings, which he was the 6th character on. He's in every scene of Monk.
Yeah, I think you would like it, Greg. I mean,
I think you'd like. It's a much funnier show than maybe it was. I know you might think it's a mystery. It was a mystery show that we made sure had a lot of comedy. It was mostly comedy, people writing it. So it's truly a comedy through so much of it.
All right. Well, you made some promises to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a promise to you.
Yeah.
I will give Monk a watch, which I should have done. Were you in for the creation of that show as well? Were you?
I worked on I was working on the pilot with Andy Breckman, who created the show. The first thing I did on the show was helped turn it from a 60-minute story to a 90-minute story, because they were expanding it out to the first episode is kind of in TV. They do a thing sometimes that they'll call a backdoor pilot, and it's a way that you can make an end run around making a contractual commitment. Here's the way it works. A popular actor will have 4 things that people want them to be in, but there's a thing called positions where you'll be in, you're in first position. That means we have a contractual hold on you. If this pilot goes to series, you're working on our series. Even if you worked on another series, they'd be in second position. Well, if the one that's in first position doesn't go, then you can do the one that's in second position. It's just a ranking system that you contractually agree to these things.
Right.
So when somebody like Tony Shalhoub, who's an in-demand actor, has multiple opportunities to do multiple things, he was working on a series that was an hour-long series for CBS at the same time, but he was very interested in doing Monk. So they were like, well, we'll take the pilot of Monk and turn it into a TV movie, which they call a backdoor pilot, which means they can make the thing without him being in first position with them. It's a way to make the thing without getting into messy contract stuff. And then you just hope that the first job doesn't go, that the CBS Doctor series doesn't go, because then he can do Monk as a series then, and that's literally what happened.
I think the similar thing happened with Steve Carell in The Office. He was about to do some show with Tom Papa, and there was some danger that if that show went forward, he wouldn't be able to do The Office. And luckily, that show fell apart, so we got to do The Office.
That happens a lot. There was a relatively recent example of it was the show The New Girl, which had Damon Wayans Jr. on it, and he was in the pilot, but then the series that he had committed to before that pilot was Happy Endings, and that improbably got picked up to series when they thought, that's not going to go. You got the job for New Girl in the bag. Go do that. And suddenly that show got picked up. Now he can't do New Girl. So he did Happy Endings for however long that ran, 2 seasons or 3 seasons. And then New Girl brought him back in later down. It was a weird thing. They didn't shoot him out of the pilot. They just kind of rejiggered things once, added a new character, said he was moved out for a little bit. Then they had to move back in and brought him back into the world of the thing once they had contractually could do that.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah. But so sounds like you're gonna have Tony Shalhoub on the show next week.
On Egg Foo What? Yes, he's gonna finally.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I see where you're going with it. All right.
And
I didn't know where you were going
Yeah.
to take this, but
Now I get it.
he's angling. He's always angling.
You
I think
weren't
I
interested
think
in
I'm
anything
pretty-
I was saying.
I think
You
I'm
were
pretty
interested
clear.
in my Rolodex.
I think I'm being pretty clear here, guys.
Yeah.
And what did Matt Berry say after the first season of What We Do in the Shadows when you said, F you guys, I'm out? What was the room like when you said that and walked out?
He has wanted me to still be working there and has said it over and over, which is very sweet of him.
But when he cried, even that was funny.
You didn't cry. You didn't cry.
He's
He
another
just
one.
said-
He's another one on our list if you can get him. And
Sure. Who do you want first? Give me the
Shooting
the
for the
timeline
stars.
for each of these.
No, I like
guests,
the
Greg.
ambition of
Yeah.
Greg is, like I said, he's marketing like nobody's business. I mean,
either one first.
I love that Mike respectfully waited till the right moment to ask me to be on the thing. And then Greg just sees me as a means to other guests. I'm just a conduit.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's who they tell stories about years later. The guy that took the chance.
Yeah.
Oh, I
The
get
master
it. I
plan.
get it. Look, I'm not saying I disagree with it. I'm just saying I see what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. I see the game.
You see it. I made up that whole thing about being mad at you for dissing Cheers. 11th level chess. That's all.
It was phony conflict.
Yes, that's what I always
drama.
say about you, Greg, is we're all playing checkers and you're playing 3D chess.
Always be angling.
But it is good to hear that Tony Shalhoub is as nice than I was.
The nicest guy. Everything that you see in his eyes that makes you think, oh, that's a nice guy, is 100% true.
That's good to hear.
It's one of my favorite things I ever get to say about anything in this line of work. And I can only tell you, you're not alone with that question, because I think he makes the same impression on everybody, because they will just say, like, is he as nice as he seems like he's going to be? And he truly is.
Perfect.
I think this is a good point to get back to a segment. I think I may be the only one. Did you get a fortune cookie, Tom?
I did, Mike.
Oh, okay. I've been getting complaints, Greg, that we've gotten away from the fortune cookie.
Well, I haven't gotten one in like.
You got to ask now, I guess. Have you considered asking?
I'm too proud. I don't ask for a fortune cookie.
I'm sure they're on the premises.
No, I have a little too much pride for that. I don't have any pride, but I have enough pride to not. I don't beg for fortune cookies.
Turn on the light here.
I mean, you don't have yours ready to go. I don't know. What's that behind you?
Coors Light sign.
That is
that
on brand.
Yeah.
What do you have, Tom?
My fortune was, good things come to those who wait. Be patient.
Oh, wow.
And it did. You're here on Egg Foo. What?
That's the lesson we all learned today.
It is better to light one small candle.
Oh boy.
Than to curse the darkness. That's a weird one.
You should have.
Yeah, but isn't that like Shakespeare or something?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's don't be angry. Be a positive person. Light a candle. Don't go around cursing things.
I thought you were going to read. I can't believe you blew that playoff game back in 2004.
See this, Mike? I don't like any of
He
this.
keeps bringing it up. Yeah.
I would say now, Mike, I'm not looking for you to. Is there a possibility?
Are you pushing me out? Is this what's happening?
No.
I'm not watching a power move.
Is there a possibility that you lost that game due to some managerial decisions?
I don't care for this. I don't know where this direction is going.
Is that possible?
First of all, this was a beer league, and even by beer league standards, it was pretty, shabby. So
okay,
there was no managing going on. That's in your face.
Yeah, there was. I don't think Greg ever consulted me on any play.
Thank you, Mike. That's
Anything.
nice of you
Yeah.
to say.
He was more of a cheerleader than a coach.
How
He's
dumb
one
do
of
you
these
feel
guys-
now, Tom? I was
He's
more
like
of a
Phil.
cheerleader than a
You're
coach.
like the Phil Jackson of this league. You roll the ball out and you let the stars take over.
You got Mike List showing up every Sunday saying, "Give me the goddamn ball."
Yeah.
What's there for me to do?
Greg really shined though when we hit the turkey's nest.
Here we
Which
go.
Yeah. Sure.
that's
Tie
when
up one of
things
the
really.
regulars.
That was with
stools.
Greg in his element.
Hey, that's my stool.
Hey, guy, I'm in line.
Now, you've talked about the
Coors
turkey's
Light.
nest quite a bit on
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
Were you ever in there, Tom?
Oh, I went in there plenty of times.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still standing.
It's still standing.
Still standing. Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of the last, if not-
Cockroaches, taxes,
the
and the
last-
turkey's nest.
if not the last one standing. It might be the last of the
Sure.
old guy standing. Yes.
Greg, will you see Meet Me in the Bathroom? Will you see that movie?
Is that out yet? Or
It's out. Yes. It's
Okay.
it's starting to come out
I am curious about that era. I didn't read the book,
now. Uh-huh.
but
The documentary chronicling that
yeah.
early 2000s rock revival in New York City.
I mean, if you remember, you probably remember my band being on your show, Smash or Trash. So I am connected.
Now, which band was this again?
Heyday.
Heyday?
Heyday. Spoiler alert. The fans spoke Smash. So I'm very, as Mike remembers from coming to the shows, I'm very connected to that early aughts in New York City Strokes / Heyday / whatever vibe. So I'm not saying I'll scan the index looking for my name, but I'm curious.
Did they shoot in what was the place you always played? With the pizza place attached to
Charleston.
the Charleston. You ever go there, Tom?
No, no.
Where
It's on,
yeah. My band had a residency, and one night it was owned by this old couple, and then like old people like you look and I can't believe they got out of bed. And the old man one day comes up to me, I'm setting up the show, goes, "You guys are great. I'm like, oh, thanks." He goes, "My wife really loves your sound." I was like, I don't want to be ageist here, but I'm still a young enough. I believe in rock and roll guy. I was like, gee, I don't know. If this old woman said she loves your sound, I don't know if you're rocking as hard as you think. So, but Mike was at a lot of shows. I may be exaggerating my role in the early aughts.
No, I don't think you were. When you named the bands from the scene, you mentioned the Strokes and Heyday. You didn't get around to the Yeah Yeah Yeahs or LCD Sound System or
I
Liars or any of those bands.
I did briefly work with the drummer of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs' girlfriend at the time. I don't know if they got married or whatever. She was perfectly lovely, nice girl. Yeah, okay. You want to say Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Heyday, the Strokes, whatever order you would put them in. We're not friends with them. But it's I don't know if I'm in the movie. It's nice to be connected to something that will be remembered for a long time. Unlike Egg for What.
Well, this has been fun, guys. I want to thank you for stopping by, Tom.
Yeah, I told Mike was worried that like I'd go after you somehow or something. I said, just a couple of nice guys.
Now Mike's worried that we're getting along too well.
Yeah, getting the boots.
He's got to break it up.
Tom, stay on this after Mike goes. I want to talk about this movie.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you both for having me on the show. This is so much fun. And Greg, you're amazing. I love listening to the show. And Mike, nobody's better than you, Mike. Seriously. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I love you so much.
Thank you, Tom. I love you too.
I'm very fond of you guys.
Yes.
He's not going to get lovey-dovey.
No.
He's not going to get lovey. Hey, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to get lovey-dovey. I have to admit.
I'm going to go along with, look, I just did what Mike did. Greg, if I would have said, Greg, I love you so much. I just gave you 4 stars. I told you I think you're great. You're funny. I love hearing the show. But if I would have said, if Mike would have given me 5 stars, then the 5 stars means nothing.
I'm the 4-star book.
Yeah.
Your eyes. All right.
Yeah. Mike
You're a rising
is-
star. You're a rising star, Greg.
Mike is the James Joyce, but what are you? What are you?
No.
What are you? Ulysses?
Yeah, well, that was a difficult one. I like Dubliners.
Dubliners. Mike is Dubliners. No.
That's the one everybody can read
Yeah.
and enjoy.
Portrait of the Artist.
Yeah, that's got that bit about hell in it, though. You like
I-
that part?
I think the world of you too, Mike. So,
Thank you,
obviously, the
Greg.
glue
Uh-huh.
brought me back together, brought us back together. So.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I was talking to Greg more. A lot of people during the pandemic, reaching out to people, and I reached out to Greg, and we had a lot of back and forth online, different social media. So this is a little opportunity that just presented itself, and it's been very fun. I've been having a good time. Glad
Well,
everybody else
see
is
how-
having
See how the
having a good
sausage
time.
is being made, Mike.
Yeah.
Well, people like that.
Well, thank you, Tom, for coming on. It means a lot. It's so much fun. We've all, I've listened to you for 100 years, and it means a lot. So really appreciate it. We're very happy you're listening, and look forward to hopefully talking again.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up.
That was great. That was so much fun. Thank you both. Seriously, that was a blast.